welcome back to the studio. And with that match, the We Here at Hype Train pulls into its final destination, being the third place in the New Eden Open, taking home $5,000 and about 150 plex. It's not a bad payday.
Not
Not
too shabby
at all.
Yeah, that's I'll take $5,000 and 100 and some odd plex. That's a
Yep.
pretty good solid deal. Of course, this time we're going to be offering a lot of options because we had some trouble paying out to international markets last time.
Yeah.
But we're much more prepared this time around. So we'll hopefully get paid out to them as well. I would encourage them to update all their account details and make sure they're correct.
Yes.
Though.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's-
transferring money to all around the world takes a lot of complicated paperwork. Sometimes takes a while.
Yeah.
We actually just had one of our winners from the last New Eden Open. It took just like 4 months, I guess, between when we paid to when he got the money on his end.
Yeah.
But
Can be a little
thankfully,
bit complex.
we've got it pretty much all worked out now from that tournament, and we're now moving on to the next.
Yeah.
Yep. But, all right, so that was a good match. It could have gone either way, to be honest. We have the stats ready to go up on the screen, so let's get those up there. What I saw...
We don't have the icon yet for the new
No.
Merlin. It's that fancy. It's classified how it looks.
So what I saw, actually, was they were breaking that one of those EOSs, and then I saw split damage on... I saw the other EOS taking damage as well.
Yeah, that was
And
just...
then suddenly that damage increased on the other EOS, and the EOS that was almost breaking started pulling back.
Yeah, so we don't know the tanks in those EOS. Neither of them died, so we have no idea what they could have been fit. There's
Yeah.
no kill mails. But it may have been that initial EOS was bait tanked, and just the other EOS was taking damage from drones, or wasn't in the proper control range. Something was damped out, so that was taking damage as well. They were testing tanks maybe. But the way that EOS climbed back so effectively with minimal logistics on the field says to me, with minimal increased logistics, it was
Yes,
already
yeah.
being repped. It was still going down even with full reps on it. Suggests some sort of bait tank, not turning on its hardeners, onlining a plate, as we've seen potentially in past matches. There could have been any number of moves there.
Yeah, and I think what we saw that damage switching from We Heard was them attempting to go for the other EOS and see if its tank was weaker. It was this guy's starting to pull back. He's holding in low armor. We need to make sure that we're not being played for a sucker and shooting at the tankiest EOS. Let's try the other one, see how it's tanked.
Definitely. And
What they really
run.
need to do was go after the Vexers.
Yes, if they could have killed off some of those Vexers early, it would have made a huge difference.
And potentially have those smart bombs like you were mentioning.
Yes, smart bombs obviously something that, like Dolan said, has fallen a bit out of favor in the previous tournaments because sentries were the dominant drone.
Yeah.
Now that we're seeing that the more mobile drones. Now we're seeing the more mobile drones taking over. There is a lot of good opportunities to use smart bombs.
Yeah, definitely.
I see there's competition.
Yeah, I should maybe plug that a little bit before it actually closes in 27 minutes. So if you want a chance to win a collector's edition, then use the NEO2 hashtag that's on your screen right now and tweet the name of your favorite team. We will do a random drawing, and whoever gets picked gets a brand spanking new collector's edition.
So we finally have the live audience here. We've never done this before.
Nope.
I'm really excited to have them here. I hope they're just as excited.
Yeah.
But so I've been on a lot of tournaments since I came here 3-4 years ago. It must have been our first tournament. And there's one question that gets brought up every single tournament.
Yep.
And that's people don't believe that as Icelandic ice sinks. And we finally have the ability to verify with a completely neutral third party. Can we select whoever cheers the loudest? I want them to come over here and verify that this water is ice cold. Can you select someone? I need someone selected.
All right, that guy right over there.
Come on over. Come on over. Yeah. This is the coldest ice. Just don't pull any wires out. That would be great. This is the coldest water you've ever felt, right? Right?
Yeah,
Feel how cold this water is.
Yeah.
Careful. You can't touch it for too long.
Yeah, it'll hurt your hands.
Yeah, you'll get some frostbite. It's very dangerous. So finally, we've settled that this is the coldest ice that there is. It's so dense. That's why it sinks.
This is why people pay so much for
exactly.
Icelandic glacial ice.
And it also has
Buy
a mood of its
today.
own.
We're
Sometimes
gonna have it on the Eve store soon.
it's actually its anger is what tells us when the match is ready. It has a sort of an ESP style sense. It's telekinetic.
You see it turning red, and that's it going like, oh, I'm so mad.
I'm so ready for this match.
Yeah.
I'm filled with rage-like anticipation.
Yeah. Of course. We all know that everything you always say at any point makes
I've never told a
complete
lie.
sense. Yeah.
I'm from America. I'm actually 3 generations away from George Washington.
Oh.
Yep.
Really?
Yep. And he couldn't tell a lie. And just like him, I can't tell a lie either. It's a genetic thing. It's actually a terrible chronic syndrome that I
Yeah.
can't lie. If you ever seen the movie Liar Liar with Jim Carrey, that's actually
That's
based on my father.
An excellent movie.
That's actually a true story, and it's my father. He's actually Jim Carrey.
So you were the little kid that really liked the claw.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
All right. Cool. Now that we got that all sorted out, we're actually going to jump to an interview. On our little interview set, we're going to have CCP Guard and CCP Mimic interviewing CCP Kaaaka.
Okay.
So let's go check that out.
Hi everyone, we're
Hey.
here with the wonderful CCP Kaaaka, and we're going to talk about a little bit about everything that's been going on lately. It's been a busy couple of months since Rubicon first came out. We've had, 3 releases since? The last one just on Wednesday. And how do you think everything's gone so far?
I think it went very well on just Wednesday. And we're just constantly working on improving everything. And in the release the other day, we improved a lot of, did a few quality of lives improvements. For example, the directional scanner, which me and Fossey were working on. And I think that's a big improvement for most people.
I think so. It's always just the little tweaks that seem to make it's just easier to play. It doesn't make the game easier, but it makes it easier to get around.
Absolutely, and I really like our developers for this. They have this direction of making things constantly better instead of, for example, if they were making them constantly worse, which would be worse.
Yes,
So
yes,
I'm
agreed.
really happy with all these things you're doing, and the little things. They seem to be popular as always, right?
Yeah, and we're always trying to find more things to do for our players to improve their lives. And I think we're just gonna keep doing that on the site mostly, as well as working on the features we're bringing in the just more in the expansions. So yeah.
And unfortunately, we can't talk about anything that's coming in summer yet. So you'll have to wait,
So many
or
good
come
things.
to FanFest, or watch the stream. But on that note, FanFest is the next big thing that's coming up, which is very exciting. Can't wait.
Absolutely, we're all getting super excited about FanFest. It's only about a month and a half away now, and everyone is just working on it full speed. Lots of things, lots of irons in the fire, as you say.
Indeed, indeed. And there's also, in between that, we've also got the monument going up, which
Yes.
we are going to unveil the day before. So if, I don't know if I should be saying this on stream, but you will be told tomorrow, probably, in another video, in which I'll tell you exactly the same thing I'm going to tell you now. But there is going to be an unveiling ceremony the day before. So if you are in Reykjavik for FanFest, then please come and join us. We're going to be commemorating our 10 years of Eve.
Yes.
So it's
10 years together in space. It's something to remember and to commemorate. So it's going to be a great occasion, and I'm very looking forward to it.
And God, have you been let into any of the secrets of what's coming up in FanFest that you're allowed
Yes.
to announce?
Well, not that I'm allowed to announce. But
that's not fair.
We have security guys in the building, and they would probably disappear me if I started talking about something I'm not supposed to. But there are some really, really cool things, and we've been working on having some things at FanFest now that you can do more of walking in and out of cool things, cool activities that you can kind of just pick up as you have time.
Always,
Alongside
always.
all the scheduled things that happen at certain hours, and
there's
just-
always going to be the staple that we always have.
course,
For
of
example,
course.
there's going to be the keynotes, which are always
Yeah.
a great pull and always something that everybody enjoys because it shows not just where we're going, but what's happened in the year and just touches up on what's been going on.
And we will take over downtown with our gigantic pub crawl. Just absolutely own Reykjavik. It's the best night. It's the best night.
And everyone should show up for FanFest. It's so much fun.
Yes.
See, we had to have 2 mics for that because you should
Yes.
definitely come here for FanFest.
It's the best time of the year.
But yes, but seeing as we're limited on what we're actually allowed to tell you, we are going to pass you back to the desk, and then they've got a few more things scheduled. But I'm sure we'll see you guys very soon, and enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you for coming.
Hi, we're back. Audience, let me hear
Yeah.
you louder, louder. Yeah.
I'm filled with power.
Yes. Thank you. That was
They're
really
cheering
good.
for
That was really
Kaaaka,
good.
not
Yes.
for us.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just absorbed.
I don't know. I've just come to accept the fact that I am second class compared to Kaaaka.
So
Just about everyone is.
Yes.
So we have beer and pizza, or we're soon to have pizza,
Yes.
but we have a ton of beer. But one thing I feel like we're really missing for the New Year Open is I really want to have like a great Eve tournament drinking game. But I'm not nearly creative enough to come up with a good drinking game because all my drinking game just ends up with me just drinking.
Yes.
But I want somebody, if you can tweet at hashtag NEO2, NEOII.
NEOII.
And come up with a really, really strong drinking game, you would make me immensely happy, and maybe we'll talk about, come up with something on stream.
And remember, drink responsibly.
Yes.
Yes.
Don't be me.
And don't drink if you're underage.
Yes.
We're
Wherever
just doing
you
this
are.
so we
Yep.
don't get sued.
Exactly.
All right. Cool. Now we have that out of the way. We actually have the Reputation Cartel guys on Skype, ready for an interview with us,
Excellent.
a live interview. We're going to talk a little bit about their performance in this tournament and how they enjoy tournaments. Let's see if this works now. Hello, guys from the Reputation Cartel. Can you hear me?
Hi, CCP Pro.
Yes.
This is
feedback?
Wow.
CCS from the. Well, I'm getting a bit of feedback.
Yeah,
there.
that should be over now.
Yeah. Appears to be working.
Okay.
So touch wood, cross fingers, cross toes. That's working now. Yeah. This is Lucky CCS from the Reputation Cartel.
Are you just
this is
alone?
Simon Shah from the Rep Cartel as well.
All right, perfect. All right, so the both of you are there. Let's just start off with the basic question: how is your tournament experience in this New Eden Open?
It's been pretty good, I think.
Yeah. Well,
We got out early, I think, compared to where we should have got out. But I think overall it's been pretty positive.
It was certainly a really positive tournament. I mean, yeah, hypes to the live audience.
Yeah, live audience.
It was a shout out plus reps to all of you.
Yeah. All right. So you had a few matches. You went out a little earlier than you expected. What were your key mistakes? What was a match that you just thought you did absolutely terrible, or was there a match where you thought you did absolutely fantastic?
For me, I think it was the second match where what was it, at the last minute, we found out our comp was over points, so we had to swap to a second comp, which then we decided to swap to a third comp within about 5 minutes of the match starting. I think we all kind of like ruffled and weren't really ready to fly the comp, and it was all sort of last second sort of stuff. And from there, we just got to the losers bracket, and then I think that was probably the turning point for us.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think we were a bit rattled by that because we were sitting ready in our ships, and we had a very, very, shall we say, good comp that we'd practiced against the setup that we knew Rampage were going to bring, and we were confident we could beat them. But unfortunately, in true Rep Cartel style, we forgot to add up all the points, and we were 4 points over. So it involved a lot of last minute changes and lots of our pilots flying with the wrong implants in and spending a bit too much money, and that didn't go very well. So
Yeah.
So why won't can I get either one of you to tell me a little bit about the Reputation Cartel as a team? How did you guys get together as a team? Where did this all start?
I suppose. Well, I suppose I'm the best person to answer this, really. In that the Reputation Cartel actually has just had its first birthday. I mean, I put the team together to compete in the first New Eden Open, where we came joint fourth, I think it was, or fifth, or joint fifth, or something. Which was a really good time, and we just had so much fun competing in NEO1 and SCL, and we thought we'd do it again.
So this was I hear the Reputation Cartel often kind of synonymous with the Fail Heap Challenge forum. Was this just a group of people that chatted a lot on the Fail Heap Challenge forum and went, hey, let's do a tournament?
I think all the members were recruited from Fail Heap Challenge. I think some were more engaged than others in terms of we don't have a secret like sub forum where we all chat to each other. We just all hang out on Fail Heap. We'll recruit from there.
Okay, cool. So apparently we're getting some feedback. If I'm actually in the center of this frame, then we get feedback from the microphone. So I'm just going to be a little bit out of center, which is fine. So we have Thingy and Warlords of the Deep left in the tournament. Who is your winner? Who do you predict is going to win?
Oh wow, that's a very difficult question. I mean, both of the teams are amazing PvPers. I've flown against them, both of them in the NEO1 and the SCL. But Turn Left were part of Exodus at that point. Yeah, so it really, for me, it comes down to a coin flip. I mean, both teams they've practiced against each other. You've seen them bring the both setups. Really, I want to hedge my bets and say Turn Left are going to win this.
Ooh.
I think Turn Left. I fly with Turn Left quite a lot. I know. Shout out to them as well, Dalaka and the others. I think he's the team captain this year. I've also flown with Hydra a bit as well, so I'm quite familiar with both teams. I think they both got their advantages. Hydra is a lot more based around tournaments, which is pretty much their ethos. They don't PvP much between the tournaments, whereas Turn Left does, which I think gives them a more versatile gives them more versatility in the tournament setting. Whereas Hydra, when they're in the right setup, in the right situation, they do better.
Yeah.
I think Turn Left can have the potential to pull a surprise upset. I think they're probably the underdogs in this match coming forward, actually, by quite a heavy margin.
Yeah, they are, as far as I know. So
yeah, I haven't looked at betting ratios, but yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna ask you, I think, one more question, and that's: do you have any advice for new people that might want to get into tournaments, that are interested in participating in a tournament team, be it fly on the team, creating their own team, managing a team, doing logistics, or any sorts of tournament work? Do you have any advice for those guys?
I think Bucky can probably talk more about the logistics side, so I'll let him cover those sides.
Tournament logistics, quite frankly, it's mind-blowingly awful. It costs a lot of money to enter tournaments. I'm not going to lie there. However, I will shout out and say the Rep Cartel is recruiting 2 lucky people for the next SCL because we had to fire one of our people for being bad.
Yeah, he didn't have Rep Jones 5.
No, Rep Jones 5, and also he forgot to bring his Titan.
Yeah, couldn't rep.
All right, guys. I think that's it for this interview. Thank you so much for coming on and talking to us a little bit. It's great to get a little insight into how this tournament was for you, and I hope to see you all in the New Eden Open 3, if not the Alliance tournament.
Thank you very much. Can I just give a last-minute shout-out to Bob Shaftos, because without him, none of this would have happened. He's probably one of the best on-field tournament FCs we know, and he's a very, very good team captain.
Yep, same shout out to Bob as well. Awesome guy. And he is the caretaker of all our comps. He puts them in pizza boxes, keeps them secure, not allowed on the internet. We didn't even know what comps you were running until the day. He's the mastermind behind this team.
All right, awesome. Thank you guys so much again. That's it for this interview. We'll see you back. I'll be joined here back with CCP Fozzie and CCP Dolan now.
Whole time.
Yes. So, hello, guys.
We never left.
And we're
were
back.
Here the whole time.
And we're back.
Yes.
So, a good interview from the Rotation Cartel. Looks like it's a concurrent theme. People having a lot of fun playing the tournaments, but it's also really, really hard work. And there seems to be a single person for most teams that kind of handles all the big stuff, like that handles all the general management and overview stuff.
Yeah.
So
it's not unusual to have some people handling more of the theory crafting, some people handling more of the FC, and some people handling more of the logistics. Splitting that load up really helps kind of reduce that workload for people and makes it so that one individual person is less likely to burn out.
And one individual person tends to get way better at that one thing than they normally would be. So, for instance, a spy maybe.
Yeah, there have been some pretty good tournament spies in the history of the EVE tournaments.
Who's the most famous one?
Well, I've been hearing good things about this free minerals guy.
Oh.
So we're actually just about to jump into break before we actually go into this best out of 5 between Warlords of the Deep and Thingy, the practice partners. We can get the schedule up on the screen real quick so you all of you at home know when to be back glued to the screen. We're starting the broadcast back at 1910. With the match starting at 1920, Warlords of the Deep versus Thingy. Warlords of the Deep, one match up in this best of 5, meaning that they need to beat Thingy twice, while Thingy needs to beat Warlords of the Deep 3 times. But as we said earlier, Warlords of the Deep, or the Hydra team, have been in this position before, been 2 matches up in a best out of 5, and then end up losing it, and that was the last Alliance tournament, so...
Yeah, I mean, this time they're going to be working very hard to get redemption from that performance, I think.
But we're not just going to leave you straight into break. We're going to play an interview that we did with Seldarine, the team captain for About As Good As a German Ski Lesson. We're going to play that, and then we're going to go into break, and we'll see you back here at 1910 for the first match of the best out of 5 between Warlords of the Deep and Thingy. Hello, so I'm here with the team captain from About As Good As a German Ski Lesson, Seldarine. Welcome.
Welcome, thank you.
So, first question I want to start out with is, how has the tournament experience been for you and your team so far?
It's been stressful, it's been frustrating, it's been enjoyable, it's been cringe-worthy in some moments, and it's been, in general, pretty awesome.
Pretty awesome. You mentioned cringe-worthy for a second there. Any specific incident that you can point to for that?
Well, I'm not sure what I can say because one of our team members actually just got perma-banned. So that was one of the cringe-worthy moments. The other one was when we turned up with rattlesnakes.
So that leads me kind of to the next question. What match was your favorite and why? And this is just in general, not and necessarily your matches, but out of the entire tournament, what was your favorite match?
Well, the only matches I've actually watched are our matches, because to be honest, the rest are pretty bad. But I think the favourite was when we went against, I actually can't even remember who they were, but they brought 3 Dominixes, and we brought 2 Dominixes and a Golem. And just, they had absolutely no idea what to do against our Golem and 2 Dominixes. They must have been like, WTF, you know? So that was my favourite match.
All right, so that was actually one of the more fun matches because neither the Dominix nor the Golem was banned in that match. Is this a comp that you had practiced a lot, or was this more like, hey, the Dominix is open, the Golem is open, let's bring both?
I actually made the comp after the banning was finished. We were like, okay, so there's no Dominixes, there's no Golems. There's a very, very high chance they're going to bring triple Dominix because we lost against Exodus. So there's a very good chance they're going to bring triple Dominixes, and what beats that? Well, 2 Dominixes and a Golem.
So would you say that was a match that you were particularly happy with, where everything you planned worked out?
Yeah, I mean, it's all sort of rock, paper, scissors, you know, and you've got to guess what your enemy thinks you're going to bring, and either like bring what you imagine the bluff to be or counter their bluff, you know. So it's nice when a sort of a plan comes together like that.
So you mentioned, I have a question here that is, what match are you really disappointed with? You mentioned the rattlesnake match earlier. Could you maybe talk me a little bit through that?
Yeah. I'm actually really not even sure what happened even now. You know, it was just a really, really bad decision. It was sort of to counter something that never happened, and I'm not even sure what it was designed to counter. You know, it was a big risk. You know, we were in the winners bracket, so the worst that could happen is we drop down to the losers bracket. And sometimes it's good to go with a really bad setup. And if you win with a bad setup, that makes everybody think you're really terrible and can help you in your future matches. But we actually were really terrible, so I'm not sure it really helped as much.
So your next match is against semicolon drop table users. What do you think about that next match, and what is your mindset and the team's mindset going into that?
Well, some of the team are betting on our opponents, and some of the team are betting on us. So I'd say the team's mindset's pretty split about whether or not we're going to win. They're a really good team. We actually did some training against them on the test server, so we've seen some of their stuff, they've seen some of our stuff. So to be honest, we're pretty confident, but we're not overconfident.
After that match, if you were to win, you would face Kolbaz inside, a team that's known for being kind of unpredictable and crazy. What are your thoughts about that matchup if it were to happen?
Well, I like to think we're also a little bit unpredictable and sometimes a little bit crazy. And our craziness has paid off and also not paid off the same way theirs hasn't. So I think it's going to be sort of rock versus rock, but one might not be with a rock, you know. One rock might be a bit harder than somebody else's rock. So I think, like, we might bring something crazy, they might bring something crazy, and just utter, like, craziness could sort of erupt, you know. Who knows?
If you were to choose a team apart from your own to win the tournament, what team would that be and why?
Well, I'm not going to say We Hurt because I'm officially never on that train. But I think ISN and Courage and Shiny Network, because those guys are very sort of dedicated to the tournament. They've been in the last couple of tournaments. They've always tried really hard, and I think they deserve some of that effort to pay off.
So, could you talk us a little bit through the lead up to the tournament? How much practice was involved and how much work went on behind the scenes that we can't really properly grasp by just watching you guys perform in the tournament?
Yeah, well, I mean, lots of teams arrange how they organise their teams very, very differently. Some are quite sort of democratic, I guess, and everybody pulls together. My teams are always quite sort of dictatorial. You know, I'm the guy in charge. I come up with 90% of the setups just myself. I organise all the trainings. I delegate to a certain degree, but usually in the past delegations let me down one way or another, so I like to do it myself. But in the run-up, like, we basically started training 2 months ago, you know, around the start of January was when we did most of our training. We were training about 2 or 3 times a week on the test server, and we were doing like a relative amount of spying against other teams, but not extreme, because basically my philosophy is I don't train any of the setups I'm going to use in the tournament. I train setups of similar aspects, you know, so we get the training for the style of team we're going to bring, but people could basically spy on what we're actually using in the training, and it's going to give them no insight into what we're going to use in the tournament.
Do you think spending all that time and dealing with all those logistics and everything is worth it to compete in the tournament and be competitive in EVE?
Well, it's certainly worth it to compete in the tournament, because EVE tournaments are a really, really good thing. I've been in nearly every tournament, and I was in the first one, the first Alliance tournament. And I actually started training my character for the tournament in 2006, and I've been basically training tournament skills ever since. And yeah, so for me the effort is definitely worth it. It would be nice to make things a little bit easier for the tournament people, especially in the New Eden Open. You know, having duality as a training server would have made, like, it would have taken away a lot of the sort of the hurdle for us, and I guess a lot of other teams as well, because apparently I heard some team captains were getting pretty emotional about people spying on them.